This is Optimal Living Daily Relationships, episode 145. 7 Surprising Reasons You're Attracting Toxic People, Part 2, by Cylon George with Marc, and&nbsp. Welcome. I'm Joss Marie, your host and personal narrator, right here on the Relationships edition of Optimal Living Daily. This is the show where I read to you from a variety of relationship blogs every Monday through Friday, free of charge. We cover a wide range of relationship topics on the show, from coping with the common challenges of parenting to understanding the science behind asking someone out. And of course, it's always with permission from the authors. Today, I have the second part of a 2-part post by Cylon George, a guest author on marcandangel.com. So if you're new here, you'll want to listen to yesterday's episode first to hear part 1. That's episode 144. Also, if you'd like to learn more about the show, join the mailing list, or simply get in contact with us, come by oldpodcast.com. We'd love to hear from you. And with that, let's get to the meat and potatoes of today's episode and start optimizing your life. 7 Surprising Reasons You're Attracting Toxic People, Part 2, by Cylon George with marcandangel.com. Number 4, you're really easygoing. Most of us like being around easygoing people. If you're an easygoing person, you're good at keeping your cool in tough situations and putting others at ease with a comforting word or witty quip. You're also likely non-aggressive, patient, and kind. But the inner peace you exude is attractive to the toxic person who's eager to disrupt the peace. They may misinterpret your apparent pacifism and conclude that you're an easy target for their controlling ways. And in your weaker moments, you may find yourself saying yes to them more often than you might realize. The fix. Become aware of how a toxic person may try to take advantage of your easygoing ways. For instance, your polite words and gestures may be seen as an open invitation. Phrases such as "sure, anytime you want," or "that's no problem at all," may be interpreted literally by a toxic person. They may respond by monopolizing your time for their own purposes. Avoid the tendency to automatically commit to requests. Instead, make your default response, "Let me get back to you on that in 10 minutes. If you do say yes, be sure not to give the impression that your offer is open-ended. Read Toxic People. Number 5, your sunny disposition is all-inclusive. As the saying goes, opposites attract. Sometimes the positive light you shine attracts people who are craving the light themselves. As a person with a sunny disposition, you're often the one to strike up a conversation or light up a room with your infectious smile. These qualities make you a pleasure to be around, but may also be attractive to certainly toxic people who ultimately want to hog everyone's attention and make the conversation about me. They are typically unhappy with themselves and therefore look to others for validation. These people deserve respect, but you need to respect yourself too. The fix. Understand that many unhappy people are unable to find joy within themselves, and they mistakenly believe that you can make them happy. They're relatively easy to spot because they'll go above and beyond to please you with flattery, gifts, or idealization. They'll be overly agreeable and willing to fulfill your requests or desires as long as you give them a yes to everything. These are warning signs that you may be in danger of falling under the obligations of a toxic person who will eventually expect you to pump up their ego 24/7. But the truth is, you can't make them happy, even if you could oblige to their every need, and you're almost certain to make yourself unhappy by doing so. If you find yourself entering into a relationship with a person like this, ask yourself, am I spending time with this person because they flatter me? Or because I genuinely want to be in this relationship? If your answer is the former, don't be afraid to give yourself some breathing room. Number 6, you're a great bridge builder. If you're a bridge builder, you can't stand seeing disagreements and disputes go unresolved. If you're one of the parties involved, you'll move heaven and earth to find a compromise or resolve the problem. While most people would likely respond to such overtures in kind ways, certain toxic people in your life may be more interested in destroying bridges rather than building them. The fix. Some toxic people find their joy by creating drama and discord. Understand that some bridges are simply not worth building or maintaining. They're bridges to nowhere. How do you resist the urge to build or maintain bridges when you know it's futile? Think about how often you've had to work on building or repairing bridges due to a toxic person's behavior. If they're constantly requiring you to resolve disputes, think about how they may be deriving pleasure at your expense. It may be a sign that you'll need to cut funding to this hopeless venture so you can apply your resources of time and energy to more positive endeavors. May the bridges you burn light your way. Number 7. Your view of human nature is super positive. For most of us, our daily interactions with people affirm our basic assumptions that the average human being is kind and decent. But every so often, we unsuspectingly run into the darker sides of human nature in the people around us that may challenge these assumptions. Do you struggle to accept the darker sides of human nature, such as possessiveness, narcissism, greed, and deception? Do you hold on to friendships with such people because you believe they will change? Do you brush off their put-downs and unkind deeds and spend lots of time with them anyway? If so, you may have a relatively high tolerance for toxic people. You may find yourself endearing their negative and even abusive behavior. And you actually may not realize that you are in a relationship with a toxic person until the situation becomes dire. The fix. Human beings are pretty good at sensing danger with their intuition, not just physical dangers, but emotional dangers as well. If you're in an emotionally negative or abusive situation, don't second-guess the discomfort you feel inside. This may be difficult because your optimism about others may drown out uncomfortable feelings such as anxiety, shock, anger, or emotional withdrawal. When warning signs appear in the form of emotional discomfort, instead of brushing them off or ignoring them, ask yourself these questions. 1. What is causing this feeling in me when I'm with this person? 2. What is this discomfort trying to protect me from? And 3. What positive actions can I take to relieve this discomfort? Just like physical pain, as unpleasant as it is, protects you from further bodily harm, emotional discomfort, when embraced, can protect you from the damaging effects of a toxic environment. Marc and Angel discuss this in more detail in the relationships chapter of 1,000 Little Things Happy, Successful People Do Differently. Afterthoughts. The positivity and goodness you bring to the world truly are precious gifts. Protect these gifts from negative influences. Invest yourself in people and circumstances that will magnify your efforts rather than diminish them. Even though your positive traits may inadvertently attract toxic people, do not let this stop you from being who you are. Just be aware of this reality so you can better spot danger when it arises and take positive protective measures. Also, consider that your positive gifts have the power to indirectly transform negativity. Just as light will dispel darkness, your light can be a shining example to those who mean well but don't realize their toxic tendencies. And even though you'll need to limit your exposure to them, don't underestimate the possibility that your example may influence them for the better, one way or the other, over the long run. You just listened to part 2 of the post titled, 7 Surprising Reasons You're Attracting Toxic People by Cylon George with marcandangel.com. Thanks again to Marc and Angel for letting us share this post with you. If you have a certain topic in mind or would just like to get in touch with us for any number of reasons, come on by oldpodcast.com. And if you're interested, you can sign up for our mailing list right at oldpodcast.com too. And just like that, we're 145 episodes down. Crazy to think OLD Relationships has been going strong for over 7 months. I hope you're enjoying the show as much as I am. Have a fabulous weekend, and I'll see you again on Monday, where your optimal life awaits.
Hello, Life Optimizer. This is Justin Malik, creator and producer of this podcast, but also Optimal Living Daily, the show where I read to you from even more blogs covering finance, productivity, minimalism, personal development, and more from incredible bloggers like Derek Sivers, Zen Habits, Marc, and Angel, The Minimalists, and all the ones you hear on this show too. So if you enjoyed today's episode and like taking amazing blogs on the go, come on over to Optimal Living Daily and subscribe to that one too. And together, we'll start optimizing your life.
You've been listening to Optimal Living Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode and head to oldpodcast.com. That's OLDpodcast.com for a free gift as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.